Welcome back to the Shred the Spread podcast. I'm your host, Jared. Thank you for tuning in to our Week 18 special episode. It has been an incredible season, incredibly incredible highs, and extremely low lows. Dynel and I, for the second season in a row, have yet to go 0-5. Round of applause for us.
Yes, sir.
I'll tell you what, in a against the spread contest where you really have to do your best to find your favorite spots, which may mean eliminating a pick or two that are just on the cusp. You may end up being in a position where instead of your 4-1, you're 2-3. And Dino and I have unfortunately found that pot pretty often this week or this year. Nevertheless, we went 52% against the spread, even having that incredibly rough stretch throughout the middle of the season. Dino and I, at one point for the first 5 or 6 weeks, we were top 2 or 3%. We were off to an incredible and obviously unsustainable pace. However, this was a year of the public. The public sides were profitable against the spread, which only happens every few years. So that just means next year we're going to kick ass, and that's what we're going to do.
Oh, yeah.
This special episode, we will include player props, aka the incentives for the players. We will go over a few of our favorite sides and totals, and then we will explain the upcoming schedule for the remainder of the NFL season and what our plans in the offseason are going to be. But before we dive right into this special episode, let me bring on, you guys know him already, the man, the myth, the legend, Dynel. Welcome back, brother.
Yeah, what's going on, my guy? Welcome back. Can you believe we're at week 18 already? I mean, this is insane, bro. Like, we're really at the tail end of the season, about to go into the playoffs, and you know I'm hyped for that. But nah, man, I got some intriguing little props I want to go ahead and put out here, man. Honestly, I got a couple long shots, got a couple of nice realistic plays, man, and I got a couple fun picks here, man. So yeah, I'm ready to dive into it, bro. Let's get it going.
Yeah, guys, listen, there's going to be an opportunity for the craziest parlays to be made this week. I will say, just a brief disclosure, I am betting a lot later than I usually am, but I'm also going to be playing a lot more systematic parlays. I'll parlay a few, games with a high total, and I'll throw people with incentives together. Just, those odd anytime touchdown score parlays. And it's going to be an interesting, fun week. The biggest thing to take away from this week is don't go with these large investments and then get, bummed out because in an Eagles instance, if the Eagles go out there and are busting the Giants' ass the first half, which highly doubt's going to happen anyway, and then the Cowboys are up by 20 or 30 and the Cowboys are winning, the Eagles are just going to pull their starters because then at that point they're just playing for nothing because the Cowboys aren't going to lose and we're not going to change seating. So tread lightly, do your research if you're going to put large amounts and large sums down on these games. I just highly recommend playing the fun stuff, taking it easy, and then preparing yourself to ramp up for the playoffs. So that's what Dynel and I are going to do. And that's what we're going to get right into now. We're going to go over some of our favorite player props that we're going to target. And there's going to be a few long shots. There's going to be a few that make sense. And all of these are usually at pretty good value.
All right, here we go. So in all likelihood, Deshaun Jackson's going to at least get a return. Deshaun Jackson gets a block. Are you kidding? Way downtown. Oh, what a shot from Curry. That is a disgusting act by Randy Moss.
So I'll just lead us off. One of the ones I saw was Nelson Aguilar, 58 receiving yards he needs for a $250,000 bonus.
Yes, sir.
I mean, that is just a realistic number. 58 yards. He could get that on a couple catches. And I just don't see a world where, especially with a lot of the starters out, he's going to have an opportunity to just go in there and put himself and solidify and be one of the top receivers in the game. I just think it's just such a manageable prop for him. And granted, I don't know if they're going to have these props up there until we get closer to game time. But realistically, this is just such a manageable number, and he's going to be probably slept on And a lot of these players that you're going to be looking at, you're going to look for the big names. Like an Austin Eckler needs 110 total yards for $100,000, and the Chargers are favored. So if Austin Eckler goes out there, he'll be one of the guys who the value is probably going to drop a little bit on. But Dino, what do you think of that Nelson Aguilar 58 receiving yards?
Oh no, dude, I love it. I love it. As soon as you said it, I said, God damn, that motherfucker started off hot. I'm right here looking at it right now. What's crazy about it is that was one of the things I really wanted to look at. I looked on FanDuel. FanDuel doesn't have any Ravens receivers props, rightfully so, because they don't have nobody available right now. But keep an eye on that. Definitely keep an eye on that. But I will piggyback with you. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give you another realistic one, and this is probably a little bit lower than Aguilar's, but Dalton Schultz, 6 receptions for $250,000. I think 6 receptions is plus 162. I mean, why not, right? I mean, in a must-win game that the Houston Texans need, Dalton Schultz has been somewhat of a security blanket. C.J. Stroud's also been out a little bit, but without having his top target, Tank Dell, I know Nico Collins is there, but he's going to need that security blanket and that help in the middle of the field against a team who are the Colts, who are in the bottom half on playing defense against tight ends, which is 20th, which, is a metric between yards, receptions, and the whole 9 yards. But 6 receptions, I believe, is definitely realistic for Dalton Schultz there. And that's plus money that you can definitely put in your parlays.
Yeah, Dalton Schultz, I mean, he's I think it's 4 for 250 and then 6 he gets another 250, so you hit it dead on. And this is going to be a competitive game. Like, this game means something to these players, and we've seen Dalton Schultz early in the season when, he was kind of the security blanket, like you said, for CJ Stroud. That's just a realistic prop to target. That's actually one of my favorite props this week, because that game, those starters are most likely going to be playing all 4 quarters. Because that's just such a huge game for that division. And just same thing, piggybacking off you, Devin Singletary, he just needs 73 yards, scrimmage yards for 250,000. So if you play his rushing and receiving, 73 yards, I mean, in a competitive game, I mean, the spread's 1.5, which means this is going to be pretty much a coin flip. I mean, I'm pretty sure the total's decent. Yeah, total's at 47.5. So, I mean, they're not expecting much defense. These are just props you want to target. Like, so we've got Dalton Schultz for all those receptions. You got Devin Singletary only needs 73 rushing and receiving yards for another 250K. And we know Devin Singletary has not been on these large contracts with the Bills. He went and took a small contract with the Texans. Like, he's not a big low contract guy. So he's going to be one of these guys that play for an incentive. So I also like Devin Singletary in that game. I think this is a big one, but this one is going to be so juiced. Is DeAndre Hopkins only needs 49 yards for $1 million. Yeah. And 7 receptions for 250K.
Exactly. Yeah.
He's a vet. He's going to want his money, and they're going to give him the ball. That's just plain simple. And we already know Mike Vrabel, one of the most competitive head coaches in the history of the NFL. He hates losing. You could see him at the press conference the last few games. Someone mentioned the word tanking, and he got pissed off. Now, realistically, Donnell and I believe Mike Vrabel might be head coach somewhere else next year.
Yeah.
Potentially the Patriots.
The Patriots.
So we're right on nose for that. But like, he's going to be out there, and he's not necessarily be coaching for his job, because teams already know what they're getting out of him. But this is going to be the determining factor. Like, hey, he went out there and he got his guys the incentive. Like, that is what players want to see. Like, imagine if Mike Vrabel just, hey, D-Hop, you're not playing this game, and then went and coached the Patriots. Like, that's not a good foot in the door, because now it's like, oh, you're more worried about you than the team. So I definitely think DeAndre Hopkins is going to smash this shit. He could probably get this shit in the first half. But again, like Donnell and I have been saying, this might be a case where DeAndre Hopkins gets, a couple catches and his 50 yards, and then he might not come back for the second half. So, I wouldn't ladder any of these props. I would play them pretty, close to what they need, and then get out, because the more you get greedy, the less the more opportunity that they have to kind of, fuck you over later in the game. So, what's your next? What are you targeting next, Donnell?
Well, let me ask you a question. Do you want a long shot, or you want another realistic play?
Let's go another realistic one.
All right, so I got another realistic one for you too. And I'm gonna switch sides. I'm gonna go on the defensive side here. Leonard Floyd for the Buffalo Bills. He needs 1.5 sacks to get $2 million as incentive. Right now, I mean, granted, we can't go that high usually on defensive props. So I just looked on DraftKings to see what the line was at. Him at 0.25 is at plus 130. So I mean, if you can get just a half a sack during that game against the Dolphins when they absolutely need it, they need to put pressure on Tua. Tua's not going to run outside the pocket, and that's a little extra motive to try to get that, that 1.5. He might not get it, but you're telling me he can't get a quarter of a sack for plus 130? That I think that's extremely high value for a player trying to get his money.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. I like that one. So D-Hop and Shelter Price, some of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say Geno Smith over passing yards.
Ooh.
This is just kind of a big spot for Seattle. Like, they have to beat the Cardinals here if they want an opportunity to make the playoffs. If the Seahawks get a playoff spot, Geno Smith's going to get a $2 million bonus that was integrated in this contract he just signed. And he's going to be facing the Cardinals defense, which is like 28th right now in the secondary. And he had a season high 9.1 yards per attempt against Arizona in week 7. So I really like his passing yards. He's going to go out there and you got to understand, like, he's kind of got to get the momentum going into the offseason, because even if they don't make the playoffs, he needs to try to limit those questions of, do we fuck up his contract? Do we have to go get somebody else? Do we have to make a trade? So I think if he can leave a good taste in the ownership's mouth, then he might be able to solidify his job next year, because I think there's a lot of questions. After Drew Lock beat the Eagles, I know a lot of people are like, shit, like, this team has talent. Do we need to ship Geno out of town or get rid of him? And I think this is going to be a big statement game from this week.
No doubt. Another let me see. I want to do like kind of another realistic one. I don't know what the line is at right now, but I would say Baker Mayfield over on the passing yards. Right now, he's currently his contract entails basically you need to be in the top 10 in the NFL or top 5 in the NFC in certain passing categories of the league. So whatever one he's in, he'll take it. For example, right now he's 10th in passer rating in the NFL and 5th in the passer rating in NFC. Either one of those, they're both fit in the line, so therefore he'll get money for along that line. But I'm gonna go back to passing yards here. Right now he's currently 7th in the NFC in passing yards behind Matthew Stafford by 58 passing yards, and Dak Prescott, who's right now at 4,237, so that's about 100 something more. He's going to get a very, very bad Panthers team. I feel like he's going to get a lot of opportunity to kind of throw the ball around. He may kind of pump the brakes a little bit if he doesn't get off a hot start. I'm concerned the fact that, hey, I mean, they got to win. Honestly, you don't have really much resistance going on against the Panthers, because the Panthers are basically done. I mean, the owner can't even fucking contain himself by throwing beers at fans and shit right now. So I don't really expect too much fight from the Panthers at the moment. So it's either A, he's going to go out and come out slinging, or B, he's going to pump the brakes, keep that passer rating within that range so he can keep his money, and honestly let Rashawn Wright just kind of take over. Honestly, they don't really need much to win this game, but they do need to win this game to get into the playoffs. So motivation is Baker Mayfield, just do what you can, manage your game, get into the playoffs, and then just hope for the Saints to lose, which I think they will, honestly. So I actually so if you want to do like another not prop, but a play, I got Falcons +3 to piggyback off that.
Okay. Just staying in that game, one thing I did notice was Levante David needs half a sack to cash $150,000. That's not like a substantial amount of money for a vet. Obviously I think that game's going to be competitive. I actually like the Panthers on the spread. No shock there. I think this is going to be a suspiciously competitive game. I saw a stat. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was like home teams playing spoiler with no playoff chances. They cover it like 64% against the spread. And that's exactly what the position the Panthers are in this week. So Bryce Young, the Panthers have nothing to lose by winning.
Honestly,
they don't. They don't have their own picks. So they're going to go out there and they're just going to hoop. And, if Bryce Young goes out there and slings the rock, and we already know the Panthers offensive line is like ranked 27th. I just see this as a really good spot for Levante David. All he's got to do is get half a sack.
Mm-hmm.
But going back to quarterback, another play I really like, me and you actually mentioned this before we started recording. It's Jordan Love. All his props, touchdowns,
all
rushing, passing.
If
the Packers win and they make the playoffs, he'll get an additional $500,000. You got to understand, this guy's still on a rookie contract. Like that is a substantial amount of money to him. And on top of that, if he makes the playoffs, he's eligible for an additional $500,000 for every playoff win thereafter. How far they go, that's one thing. But he has an opportunity to go out there and handle his business, and it's going to be the weight on his shoulders. Now, Jordan Love, I think he needs to get some more respect from the public than what he's gotten, because correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think the Packers had one Pro Bowler this year.
No, I don't believe so.
You have a quarterback in his first year starting going out there with no Pro Bowl talent. Now, there is potential for Pro Bowl talent, but they've obviously dealt with some injuries and stuff. But you have Jordan Love going out there with no selections from the Pro Bowl, and this is first year starting, and he's got this team and an opportunity to make the playoffs. I think he's going to go out there and do what he does. I like Jordan Love's props over.
That's all it is. I'm gonna actually end my picks kind of off on two long shots. So I'm gonna go back to back for you. One of my long shots I like. We're gonna go back to that Texas game into that same tight end. 107 receiving yards for for Dalton Schultz. Hear me out. It's an extra 250, right? Now, it's a long shot play. So, likelihood, is really, really low. So here's what I'm going to say. He's done it one time this year already. 10 receptions, 130 receiving yards against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I believe in week 8 or week 6, around that range. He's definitely done it before. He can showcase it. And without Tank Dell, that kind of takes another weapon out, another weapon away from taking, from taking some of the food from the gumbo. You feel me? So at this point now, like I said, 107 receiving yards, just at 100 plus is plus 750. So just something to keep an eye on. Just like a little long shot play, dabble a little bit with it. But honestly, I mean, plus 750 with a little bit of motivation against the 20th ranked defense against tight ends. I'll definitely dabble in that a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely gonna be juicy odds. I'll have to take a look at that.
Yeah.
Maybe correlate it with his receptions, get a nice little payout. I will finish my player prop off with a touchdown score.
Ooh.
And this one is gonna be an interesting one.
Uh-huh.
Adam Troutman to score a touchdown. He led all Denver tight ends last game with 49% of all set offensive snaps, and he needs one touchdown for a $100,000 bonus. Simple enough. We have Jared Stidham's going to be starting this week with their benching Russell Wilson. This may be the end of Russ. I'll tell you what, I'm kind of nervous because we're not doing bad on our preseason plays, like our win totals and stuff.
Oh no,
but
right.
the Broncos surprisingly have risen from the dead, and if they win this game, I not only hit my Broncos over win totals, but they're playing the Raiders. And if the Broncos win, that means I also hit my Raiders under. So this game is either going to go my way and I double up on both, or I am down
Completely
bad.
sink.
So
yeah.
So I'm going to not necessarily hedge, but I'm going to kind of add some opportunity to maybe break even or even increase my profit. And I'm going to take the Adam Troutman touchdown, anytime touchdown. He needs it for 100K. I mean, he's only got like a 4.1 million contract, and then this might be his last contract. He might get cut and not even get all that money because it's not guaranteed. So I think he's going to go out there and try to get one. And if he's leading offensive snaps last week, I don't see why that changes this week. So I like Adam Troutman for a touchdown this week. Alrighty.
I like it.
All right. So you said you like the Falcons. I said I like the Panthers. Are there any other sides that you're targeting this week?
Bro, I ain't gonna lie to you. It's been my personal regime all year long. Bears +3. Bears +3.
Yeah, we've kind of came along on the Bears, especially when Montez Sweat went there. Me and you pretty much said the same thing. Like that defense their rushing defense was going to be ass. But when he went there, they got more pressure on the quarterback, which was making hesitations on the line and making the opponent's offensive line struggle. And the Bears have literally been that. I don't think they're priced correctly. I see this game as Bears +1. You're getting great value at +3. I just think the market's out on the Bears for some reason. And not only do we like Jordan Love's props, so I kind of like the over, but I kind of like Justin Fields here too.
He got something to prove.
Yeah, we got to remember, the Bears are going to have the number 1 pick. They have an opportunity to, hey, do we trade down and do we just take Marvin Harrison Jr. or do we say, fuck it, get Caleb, which people think he's the next Patrick Mahomes? Like, this is a statement game. And you have a lot of those people that were under the owner's press box talking about we want Fields or whatever they were saying.
Yes,
They heard that. They heard that. So, I mean, this is going to be a big game for Fields because imagine Fields goes out there and stinks it up. This is a team they play in the division twice. And this is going to be the last thing they remember going into the offseason. Like, shit, do you remember that bad interception he threw? Like, we didn't even have a chance. Like, we got to take Caleb. But if he goes out there and just, even if he loses, if he goes out there and puts up points and they shows it's not my fault, we need help on defense, that may be the deciding factor. So I agree with you there. I love Chicago plus the points. But guys, I have a lot invested in this Sunday night showdown at 8:20. The Bills and the Dolphins. And you know, I've got the Bills. The Bills were my pick to win that division. The Bills were one of my picks to go to. My Super Bowl prediction was Eagles and Bills. Eagles, who fucking knows with them? But the Bills, everybody's counting the Bills out. Everybody's counting the Bills out. Now, I do see that this is pretty chalky given the injuries that the Dolphins have, but this just yells Josh Allen, get right against this Miami team that can't beat a winning team besides the Cowboys. I love the Bills in this spot, and I just don't see a world where this Dolphins defense is just going to be able to slow the Bills down. I think the Bills put up points. I think the Bills win, and I think this is such a smash spot. I don't care how chalky it is. I don't care how public it is. I don't even care about any of that. I love the Bills. They're my favorite pick this week.
No, I like it. Alex, I love it, my guy. Like you said, they've been in go mode for the whole entire season, man. So this is like I said, they turned the corner. once they win, I think they were 6-6 at one point, and they finally turned the corner, really got things going. Like you said, those are your guys right now. You got some money dabbled in Mahomes and I said Mahomes, Allen MVP, Bills in the Super Bowl. So hey, man, it lines up, man. They need this. They absolutely need this.
Yeah, I know Lamar is the favorite to win MVP right now, but he's not.
He shouldn't.
He's not playing this week, and it's if Josh Allen goes in there and handles his business and wins the game-winning touchdown, game-winning drive, whatever it is, scores 4 like he does some crazy shit, he's gonna have an opportunity to win MVP. Which you guys already know. I mentioned at the beginning of the season. Then a few episodes in, I told you I'm taking a dab on Josh Allen when he was 10-1, and I just bet Josh Allen again at 16-1. So this is a big game for me. I'm vested heavily on the Bills, and I mean, I hope it goes my way. But are there any other sides or totals you want to target before we get out of here?
Yeah, okay, yeah. For fuck it's sake, Commanders plus 13. I guess, man. Outside, away, on the road, they got nothing else to fucking lose.
Can y'all please beat them?
Yeah, I know, bro. You know what's funny? I want to bad, even though we just root out Jonathan Allen, so that kind of hurts a little bit. But
oh, geez.
But the feel of it, right? You know, like you said, 64% of the teams that are at home as a dog I think wins, right? With nothing to lose, right? They usually cover 64%
no playoff
of the time.
aspirations.
Yeah, give me that, but give me that stat plus, and also 13.5 points. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's a recipe for disaster. I mean, we know how Dak and that Cowboys team can go on the road. We've seen a little fight from the Commanders, just lost it late against the 49ers last week in around the mid-third, late fourth quarter. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we covered that. And if you want another prop, just for fuck it, shits and giggles, I literally put fuck it right here. If Tyreek Hill needs 247 receiving yards to beat the record, of course, I don't think he's getting that. But 175 receiving yards against the Bills is plus 880. So just if you want to dabble in that, you guys most certainly can.
Oh yeah, that reminded me. That Vikings game, Justin Jefferson's his over yards, that shit. I think it was plus money at like 97.5 earlier today. Yeah, I go ahead and smash that. They're pretty much an all or nothing for them. So that's
right.
Another one that I like. Besides the Bills, I'm gonna be off the Rams. I know Dino and I mentioned last week that we're gonna have the Rams. And I told you, I called it to a T. I said the Rams are gonna win. It's gonna be very ugly, but they're gonna pull it out, and then they'll beat the Niners next week. Obviously, they're sitting Matthew Stafford, a lot of those boys.
Mm-hmm.
So that's fine. We'll just be off. The Giants plus 5.5. I mean, that's just, you got to fade the Eagles while you can until they get into the playoffs, and we'll see what they do. But the other one, surprisingly, is the Chargers minus 3.5 against the Chiefs. I mean, that line just yells at me for some reason. I mean, why are the Chargers laying basically 4? Who knows? And then the last one, I just want to give a warning to everybody, because I know a lot of people are on the Steelers. Tread carefully. We got to remember this Baltimore Ravens second team was the team that's been dominating the preseason for the last few years. So just tread that lightly. That shit's not going to be as simple as it is like your Steelers money line with whatever. Same thing with the a lot of people are backing the Browns. Be careful with that as well. Why is that number 7.5 for the Bengals? So like I said earlier, tread lightly. A lot of this shit looks free, but it may just so be a trap. Dynel and I will be doing weekly episodes for the playoffs. We will not be doing a preview. We will be doing, just as we did this week, one episode a week, breaking down our favorite plays, some props, maybe some parlays. But that is the plan for the upcoming playoff schedule. So Dynel and I will be back with weekly episodes. You can expect those somewhere on Thursday or Friday. I know Wild Card Weekend, we have a Saturday, Sunday.
Yep.
Maybe Monday.
I'll double check.
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure.
I know it's Saturday and Sunday, potentially Monday. But we will obviously go over that all on one episode. So before we get out of here, Dynel, did you have anything to say to the listeners?
No, I do not. All I'm going to say is show appreciation for you guys all throughout the year, all through the whole 18-week process. Thanks for bearing with us and sticking with us through the highs and the pits of hell, because we definitely hit damn rock bottom a few weeks, man. But we appreciate you guys throughout the season, the whole year. Continue doing what you guys do. Show us support. Send us comments, guys. Critique us. You know what I'm saying? We are not perfect. Follow us on X. I was about to say Twitter again. X. At Shred Their Spread. You know, shoot me DMs if you guys need to. At Dineasy, that is at DYNEASY. EEZY. If you guys want to send me any messages or anything or any props to go about this week and future endeavors. Also, I'll most likely be posting on my Twitter basketball props throughout the year too. Since I won't be able to do, film every day and record every day, I do want to at least, put out some props for you guys to kind of take. So keep an eye on my Twitter, and that's why that's another reason why you should follow me on X. And yeah, that's it. That's sayonara.
Yeah, whatever props Dynel posts, we'll also get that retweeted on the main, or reposted, I should say, on our main X at @shredthespread_. So thanks again, as Dynel pretty much said. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but thanks again for everybody for an incredible season. Let's make some money in the playoffs. Last week, Dynel and I smoked the playoffs. I mean,
Yes.
I think we only got one game wrong.
One
The
thing wrong.
entire playoffs until the Super Bowl. So we're looking to do that again. Dynel and I usually are pretty sharp in the playoffs. We could see right through those damn lines. So let's hope for another successful playoff run. And thank you guys for an awesome and incredible season. Obviously didn't pan out in our favor, but that's why we do it again next year. Until next time, for our wild card weekend special edition episode, this has been the Shred the Spread podcast for Dynel, myself, and our awesome producer Tyler. Thanks again for listening. And until next week, we'll see you.
Peace.